At the age of 15, anyone could literally win my heart with the supermarket shortbread. That was my favorite pastries. I loved it. So today we are coming to make it at home to give ourselves flashback of our childhood favorite snack. If you are new, thanks for watching. For the ingredients, I'm going to use all-purpose flour. You can use cake flour or soft flour. I used margarine. You can also use butter. I also use sugar. I use granulated sugar. I'm going to tell you why as we move into the recipe, and of course some vanilla for taste. I combine all my dry ingredients, the flour, the sugar, a pinch of salt because there's salt in the margarine. I didn't film that part, but I just showed it to you, and then I gave it a quick mix. I combine it very well to avoid it from separating so that I can get a uniform mixture. I add my margarine. Putting the margarine in a cling film always makes work very easier to avoid a lot of dirty utensils. So I then cover my margarine with a flour for it not to stick onto my fingers or onto my palm, and then I mix it very well. I'm not overworking the dough. I'm just turning it into a breadcrumbs texture so that I can combine it. I added the quantity of vanilla essence that I want. You can add any essence, but I prefer you use vanilla to give it that shortbread taste. It also elevates the taste, but vanilla is optional in making shortbread recipe. As you can see, it has very well combined. So after mixing it or after combining it very well, I now mold it or bring it together to form a ball because we want to shape it. If it's in a crumbly texture, we cannot shape it. So we have to bring it into a ball. We just have to be patient when bringing it into a ball. It isn't tedious. I then take my tray. I don't have parchment paper, so I use official sheet. I put my dough on it and then break it apart, separate it because I'm coming to shape it and then cut it into the shortbread style, like the ones in the supermarket or in our local store. It is advisable to shape it on a square object or a rectangle object. So I use my spatula and then press it down because shortbread is crumbly. So we need to press it extremely down so that when we are baking it or when we are taking it out, it wouldn't break apart. So I just use my spatula to combine it till it had a smooth surface before I proceeded to the next phase. We want a very crumbly shortbread, a flaky shortbread, but we do not add cornstarch because the granulated sugar is going to do that work for us. If you use icing sugar or powdered sugar, you can add cornstarch. But if you decide not to melt your sugar or use powdered sugar and you are doing it like my method, please avoid cornstarch because trust me, the sugar is going to give it a very crunchy texture. But if you want it too crumbly, you can still add your cornstarch even though you are doing it using my method. I love this method and I'm going to try using icing sugar or powdered sugar or mixing the sugar well with margarine in another recipe to compare the favorite or to compare the one I love most. But for now, I like this. That is why we are doing this. So I've given it a very nice shortbread shape. I'm going to transfer it from the paper because we are not going to bake on the paper. I'm going to transfer it onto my baking sheet, and this method is very gentle. It's not going to break it apart. If it breaks it apart, you just mold it back. No cause for alarm. So I did this gradually and then decided to now take toothpick and poke holes into my biscuit because as usual when you buy the ones in the supermarket, you can see holes inside. Why is there hole? Because putting holes inside makes the heat penetrate through and it bakes all through so that you can get a very cooked shortbread recipe. That is why we poke holes into our meat pie, our biscuit, not because of it being a design, but it serves a very important purpose. You can also achieve a delicious cooked biscuit without poking holes. but it's advisable you do that. For the baking, I'm going to use my charcoal oven, which I love. So I basically warm it up and then put it in, wait till it's ready, then I remove it out from fire. For this oven, you have to be critical, you have to be intentional. A little ignorance will cause everything to burn. Fortunately, I didn't burn mine, but before the pastry or the shortbread cools down, we take a knife and then separate it, because we did not do that in the beginning because we wanted the size to have this fresh and not burnt edges. That is why we did not separate it all through. But now that is ready, we separate, allow it to cool down, and then we can munch onto our shortbread with milk, tea. We can take it with mineral. We can eat it like that. You can glaze it with some chocolate. You can take it with some peanut butter. You can basically share it to anyone you want, parcel it very nicely, give it out, and they will thank you for that. This is where we are going to end today's video. Don't forget to like this video, share this video to friends and family. Tell them that enough of the buying of shortbread in supermarket. We are going to make it at home and it's going to be delicious. I love you. Subscribe to Agmen Cooks, and until next time, stay blessed.